Hi, this is Charlie giving you Friday's live trading, and I hope you're very well. It is 10 to 8, and so we're going to be watching these markets here this morning. Hopefully, we can get a trade, in this early phase of the morning. If not, it's non-farm payroll day, so I'll just be waiting until non-farm payrolls. Or that's at 12:30 today, so we'll be looking to do those. So I'll press pause for now. Okay, right. I've actually spotted an opportunity here on the dollar CAD. If it can just pull back a little bit more. There's an 8am pivot just about where the blue line is, where this 21 MA is. So I'm going to look for a combo of the 8am pivot along with obviously these highs and this moving average. So I better get a deal ticket ready. So let's change this over. And so this is probably going to be my attempt this morning. And if it doesn't work out this trade this morning, then I'll probably then be waiting through to after non-farm payrolls. So that's that. One thing I must mention is yet again I'm in an existing little swing trade. I put a swing trade on the other day, earlier on in the week. I don't know what day it was now. Wednesday? No, Tuesday. Tuesday evening, I think it was. Shorted put a tiny trade on the euro dollar, and with a 100 pip stop. So it's only a very small trade I did there in the week, but that's still sitting there. So I'm just going to see what happens with that one. But we'll ignore that because that's something else I'm doing there. So for now, this dollar CAD is coming in. It's got momentum. It's got momentum across the board. As far as, but I've got to trade it with trading stop sort of thing. What I will do is I'll probably have a slightly wide. I'll give it a slightly wider berth. So I'm going to give it a stop down about 90, down in the low 90s, and see if I can just give it a slightly wider berth, and then I'll start edging in. Okay, so we're going in with up to 4 units this morning, and then we'll see what happens. But I've got non-farm payrolls later on to trade, so it's nearly there. So I'll put 1 unit in if it hits the 8am pivot, which is about a pip lower than where we currently are, not even quite a pip. So I'm watching my charts off screen, and then I'll start entering. It is lined up, this market. So then I know it's hit the daily R1 pivot, so I know it's hit some resistance there. But I've got to see if this thing is going to have some oomph behind it actually. So if it can do it. The weird thing is with dollar CAD is that, like I said, I'm still looking at the pound dollar and the euro dollar is potentially going up, but I have to take this one as a standalone. And at the moment, all the momentum is lined up at the moment. So it's a case of whether it can hold. So anyway, right, it's nearly there. There's about a pip, like I say, to go. Then I'll put 1 unit in, and then I'll watch the price and probably get some. Then I'll get some, at least another unit in, or and see what I can get in. So it's not quite got there yet. So anything else to say at the moment? No, I'll press pause while we're waiting. Okay. Right, while I've been talking to the guys. I've just missed the first entry, so I'm going to put an entry in here. Right, so long dollar CAD at 09. Okay, so just missed the absolute low there while I was chatting. So I've gone long with the first unit. What I'm going to be looking to do here with the dollar CAD is put a series of entries in today over different prices. So rather than me putting all 4 units in right now, I think we might find that it comes down and wobbles around for a bit. So I can see that on the hourly chart. If we go to the hourly time frame now, here's that hourly time frame. I don't like the price action, the bars themselves. There's lots of wicks and in that regard, but I like the momentum and I like the overall trend right the way up to the 4-hour charts. But so I see the potential here on dollar CAD for some consolidation, this type of movement, and then, but it should then, the way that it is with all the momentum and the trend, should then still want to proceed. So that's why I'm looking to edge my entries in. Now what happens if, as I've just put that entry in, if dollar CAD just starts going up from here and doesn't look back? Well, that's the price you pay sometimes for when you are trying to get a number of entries in over a series of different prices, if it does just go, then you're only in with one unit. But anyway, we'll worry about that if that happens. For now, I'm carrying on watching this and seeing if it does come off again. And if it comes off again, then I can then get some more units in, and then I'm at least positioned for a move higher. Now, one thing I've got to be aware of again today is the non-farm payrolls, but they're not until 9:30. What? 12:30. But obviously, if I got into this trade and it just started to stagnate as we got closer to non-farm payrolls, I would have to close out. We've got CAD news out later today as well, so I would have to close out if that was the case. We've got employment figures for Canada as well. But I would have to close out. It's the responsible thing to do ahead of something like non-farm payrolls on a day trade. I'm not bothered about that swing that I've got there on the euro, but if I was in that position, then I would have to close out. It's the right thing to do. And why? Because you're susceptible to slippage. Because if you're trading and you've got a stop, where was I looking to have a stop? My stop's going to be down here somewhere. So if you're trading and and by the time we get closer to non-farm payrolls, let's say price is sitting here, obviously it can thunder down. And what happens is you're just going to end up getting slippage because it's unlikely the broker's going to be able to fill you at your stop. If it's thundering down, then you're going to end up getting filled, down here. So and then you take in slippage as well, which you don't want. So not on your day trade. If you've got your positions in, you've calculated your risk by having a stop here, and then you get a big amount of slippage. Well, it's going to push you way over your risk limits. So anyway, that's why it's a responsible thing to close out if that's the case, which is always a pain because obviously if it goes in the right direction, then you've come out and you've missed out. But that's that. We're not in this to gamble on big events like non-farm payrolls. So I'll press pause for now and be looking to see if we're going to get some more entries in. So those entries are going to be not that much lower. But I certainly want to get a second unit in, and then down in this zone in the 134.05s. There's going to be a stop down in these low 90s. I'm just going to have a look at that on the chart properly. It looks like it will be around about 94. So it's not a big stop, but hopefully big enough, hopefully. So we shall see. I'll press pause for now. Okay, so I'm looking to get this a third unit in here. We've come down to the 5-minute 50. I mean, we're only talking about a pip or two from the other entries, but like I said, I wanted to stagger the entries just to see if I could get slightly better prices today. I'll get this third unit in. Okay, I'm just going to put it in at 7. I'm not that fast. I wanted to wait until it closed back inside the band. So I've got a third unit long now on this dollar CAD. Remember, the first unit was at 09, second unit was 08, and then this third unit I've just put in at 07. So they're all in the same sort of zone anyway. And remember, the stop is down at 90, effectively 94. So I'm giving it a bit of room. But it's not. It looks like a long way on the chart, but it's only 10 pips or whatever it is from what's 14 pips from the first entry and so on. And now it starts coming down. Anyway, so I will get that stop in and I'll press pause for now and we'll see what's going to happen here. But I suspect hopefully we're just going to play around and then gradually at some point later it will come up. The only problem is we do have time as an issue today with non-farm payrolls, as I've already said. So we'll see. I'll press pause. Right, just back, and so we've sat through a bit of chop here. You can see that the dollar CAD had a nice bounce earlier on. It came back down to what, 98 or so, and it's bouncing again now. So, we're now into mid-morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these stops up below that low now on the 3 entries. So it's 96. So I put my entry in, my stop in at 97 basically, because that will stop me out at 96. Because I put it in at 96.7 because it has to then go below 97 on the ask, you see. So, so that effectively therefore is 96. So because it's made that low now, and so it's once we put in a secondary low, you see. Once we put in a secondary low, you come down, done the initial low. Now that's fine if it had carried on up and then break into new highs, but it didn't. So there's always the potential for a retest. And that's effectively what we've done now. And now it's just a case of, can this hold up and maybe even go higher, prior to non-farm payrolls. Because if we don't, I'm going to end up having to close out anyway ahead of the news. We shall have to see. And then we'll still be looking to trade after non-farm payrolls anyway. I don't know whether it's going to be really wanting to break higher. Considering the big news we've got out today, I suspect we're probably going to stay range bound, and so I'm going to end up having to close out. But I'm going to head down to the gym, and so I'll be back a bit before non-farm payrolls. Okay, just back from the gym, and just chatting with the guys in the room. And so as we can see, this dollar CAD has come up. It's gone in line with the momentum that was there from this morning. So we used the weakness to buy in a little bit back here. Took a little bit of heat down here, but it wasn't a lot of pips. And it's up. But what are we now? We've only got 55 minutes until the news. Now I've got this first target up at 20. It'll be about, on a deal ticket, it'll be about 22. So we're literally 5 pips away. But I don't know. We're up against this morning's highs from over here. I don't know if the dollar CAD's going to have the impetus to be able to break out here. It's like 11:35 in the morning UK time here, and I don't know whether it's going to be able to have that oomph to break out in this next 50 minutes ahead of the non-farm payrolls. And obviously we've got economic figures, employment figures for CAD as well. So today at 12:30. So as nice as it is that it's up a little bit, the positions are all up. Let's bring it up. So the positions are all up a bit, but I have to, like I said earlier on, I have to close out these positions prior to non-farm payrolls. Otherwise, I'm effectively like gambling with too much because of the potential slippage. Having said that, I've just been saying to the guys in the trading room here that what I will do is I'll close out of, I've got 3 units, so I'll close out of 2.5 of those. So I'll be net, I want to be net long, because even if it's just a half lot, even if it did slam down and I got slipped on that, it's only slippage on half a lot, so it's only a very small position. Just in case this dollar CAD does want to go for that breakout today from the daily charts here. So just in case dollar CAD does want to go for that breakout, I would really like to be on the long side. It marries up with what's going on the 4-hourly charts. So but it would be wrong of me to be just try and stay in long with the 3 whole lots. So half a lot, yeah, let's do that and then see if it gets a breakout. So we're up at the moment, and obviously at some point in this next 50 minutes I do need to close 2 of these out. I just love it if it can just go to that. It's effectively, if I go to an hourly chart, it's effectively this high over here. So this high over here is at 23 point something, or say point, but it's 23.7 on this chart it says. So effectively I'll be looking for 22 on the deal ticket, including the spread, so it'll be about 22. So if we can go to 22, which is what, like I say, about 5 pips from where we currently are, then I will start banking out. So it's not a lot of pips, unfortunately, today on this one. But anyway, I'm still going to look to see if I can trade something else after the news. Now, could I, at this moment, start to trail my stop up? Because what happens if all in this 50 minutes we come all the way slamming back down and just come because it wants to stay in this range? I do think right now I should trail the stop on 2 of the units. One of the units I'm going to be trying to stay in it with anyway. So let's do that. Actually, before I do move that across, I need to see where I want to trail that to. So I'll still give it a bit of room, but I'm going to move that stop up to 0.6 now. So let's do that on a couple of these. So which one am I going to stay in with? I'm going to stay in with the first entry. So these, no, these, yeah, yes. So that one I'll leave the same. These 2, I'm going to move the stop up. So 0.7, that'll stop me out at 0.6. Means it needs to go to over 0.6. Okay. So the stops have been trailed up on 2 of the units, and just because this could just come straight back down within the range, and then all that's going to happen is I'm going to have to close out down here in the next 40 minutes or so. So I might as well start trailing the stop anyway. And then it's a case of oh, actually, yeah, and then I need to, in order to be effectively, I'll worry about the extra half lot in a bit. I can put an order in, can't I, for that? All right, I'll sort that out off screen. The half lot. I need to, in order to effectively, because the way that this is, in order to take this unit down to a half lot, it's obviously a 100,000 here. So let's say I get rid of those two. I'd still be net long 100,000. I can't just change this to a 50,000. It doesn't let me do that. So in order to be net long 50,000, I need to sell 50,000 at some point. So then I'm net long 50. So I shall sort that out. I'll get an order in. If it comes down, then I'll sell 50,000 down at 06. So, but anyway, for now, we'll just carry on monitoring this and seeing if it can go. Okay, I'm going to bank one of these units now at 15.9. I just put on to the guys in the room, so I've just banked one at 15.9. I was holding out for 22. We tried to break out here, then it's come back and closed inside the bands. So the close inside the bands has just said to me, all right, if it had closed on the outside of the bands, I'd have happily just carried on there watching it. It's closed inside the bands, so one of the units now I have closed out for whatever. So that's effectively 16. The entry was at 08, so I've had 8. Just under 8 pips. Oh, that's terrible. It's horrible. But we've got the news coming out in just 25 minutes anyway. So for that reason, I've got to at some point in the next 20 minutes close out anyway. We closed back inside the band, so I've taken one of those units off. No, don't say that, Neil. I hate that expression. A profit's a profit. Why do I hate that? Oh, am I? Oh, sorry. Thanks, Scratch. One of our guys just told me I'm still recording and I'm eating. My apologies. I better press pause. Okay, so I was just having my lunch here. Right, bank the profits, guys. So take the other one quick. 20? I was in the middle of doing stuff. Come on. That serves me right. Should have put a limit order in. Okay, so I'm now net long with half a lot. It just had that spike. It's hit that high, like I said, at 23 on the charts, 23.7, and it's just gone to 24 point something, and I was too late in getting that. I've got a bad feel there. So I'm now only long with, so here's what we've done. So I've just banked that one at 20 point set, or 27 there. But what I'm doing, I'm now net long 50,000. So I've got the original long 100,000 and I've shorted 50,000, so that gives me a net long of 50. So hopefully if this dollar CAD can carry on going higher, then I'll get better out of that. But I've got a poor feel there. I should have got out about 23. It would have been ideal. I was sitting here eating my lunch and I wasn't paying attention. It just spiked up then. But anyway, we're in it and we'll see what happens here after the news. So as we go into the news, we'll start looking at other. There's nothing for me to do with dollar CAD now. I'm not interested in doing much with it. I might move my stop up a bit. I can probably move my stops up actually. Yes, let's do that. They were at 97 because it's having a nice little run. Let's move the stops up to I'll put them up to 01 for now. But realistically, I was looking at the charts earlier on, so somewhere in the 50s. Actually, it was in the 50s. I'd be looking, and I'm going to put a limit order in because I don't want to risk if it spikes up and I can't actually physically do it. So 134. It was 52, so I'm going to put the order in at 50 as the limit order, just in case on the news it goes and does that. So 134. Oops, 50, not 52. God. Right, 50 and 50. Yes. So 50. Oh, you can't see it's off screen. There it is. That's on the short there. So yeah. So whatever happens now, we're locking in a little bit. I think we'll see what happens. If it rolls all the way over, I'll probably give back the majority of it. But it's pretty much a free ride now. But I see the euro's holding up as well, and so I know we've just hit a daily R1 now, R2, sorry, on CAD, dollar CAD. So I'm pleased it's finally done it. Bit of a pain. I banked one out there at 16, but it'd come back into the bands, and we're running out of time. We've only got 10 minutes before I really would have needed to have closed out anyway. So then all of a sudden it's done it. So I think holding on was the right thing. And I have generally held on today. It's had a bit of a break, and we'll just see with this last half a unit, half a lot, and see if it can break up to 50. Then it won't be too bad. It'll make a little bit. So we're going to start focusing now on other opportunities, fresh potential opportunities after the non-farm payrolls come out. I won't be looking to necessarily trade all the volatility as it happens, looking to see what happens and then make a decision from there. So I'll press pause for now. Hi, okay, just back, and we've got just a couple of minutes, sorry, a couple of seconds, a few seconds, 5 seconds, and we'll see what's going to happen with this dollar CAD. Everything's going to start exploding and or off in various directions. Let's just see what's going to happen. So dollar CAD's come down, so I've been stopped out at dollar CAD. Okay, so what have they come in at? 161, 161, guys. Now we see what's going to happen and where we go to from here. So I've been trading stopped on that position. So let's have a look at it. Still ended up with a £72 gain for the day on that position. Wow! But at least I gave it a chance there. With a half lot, it was worth the shot with the half lot. So we're getting the initial reaction now, but really it's going to be about, okay, where do we go to from here? So let's just see. So if I had left my stop at 97, I would have still got stopped. Where did I get? I did get filled at 01. Wow. Oh, that's interesting. I got filled at 01 on one of them and 96.9 on the other. So I got slipped on one and didn't get slipped on the other. That's a bit of a bug. Right, okay. So dollar CAD, we are now seeing this big reversal here. Sorry, I just remembered I've got the recording still going at the moment anyway. So it doesn't matter that it carries on going up. That's the thing with non-farm payrolls. It's difficult to trade through it because of the way that markets can move. So the main thing is, out of the dollar CAD, had something out of it today. Could have been quite a bit more if I'd decided to bank out and all that, but something out of it. And now it's just a case of seeing what happens here this afternoon. So Euro's coming down a little bit at the moment, but again, nothing too major. We're not seeing any major moves here across these other markets. If I go to a 5-minute chart, the Euro, yes, it's coming down. That suits my swing, but it's very early doors just at the moment with the Euro. I'd need a proper move, so I'm not too fussed on that. I'll press pause for now. Right, just remembered I've got to get this video finished, haven't I? So I could stay here and see what other trades we get this afternoon. Obviously the news, the Euro's come down, it's come back up. It could overall, let's have a look at the hourly charts of the Euro dollar here. Very, very sideways overall, but it still could want to break higher overall. But so I've had that small profit out of that dollar CAD today. Yes, it had big spikes and it ended up going up to 134.50, but it had that spike down first. But overall, the analysis was good today, so I'm happy with that. It's been a good week. Just a tiny little trade as it turns out on the end of today, but it's non-farm payroll day anyway, so we're always going to be a bit restricted this morning. I'm not going to sit here carrying on trading this afternoon, so I've got too much to get on with. I've got a presentation to do tomorrow, so I've got to put the slides together. So I shall leave you to it. Have a great weekend, and see you next week.